Hi, my name is Frank. It's Friday. That means it's time to kick back, relax, and talk music. Bandbox, which is a monthly vinyl subscription service, sent me a bunch of records to check out. We'll look at those in the mailbox segment. But first, record of the week. This week's record of the week is this compilation called the Video Hits album. Now bear with me if you know what this is. 1, you are Canadian. 2, you grew up in the 80s. And 3, you were busy pretty much every day after school between, say, 5 and 5:30. For those of you who don't know, Video Hits was a super hugely popular daily video show, Monday to Friday, that ran on CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, from the mid-80s to the mid-90s. And the host here was Samantha Taylor. Every kid in Canada used to watch this show. This was released in 1987. And as I said, it's a compilation featuring a bunch of different artists. And interestingly, these are all full-length versions of the songs, pretty much. Typically on compilations like this, you would see these songs edited and cut down to fit on one album. These are all full, as I said, full-length songs, with the exception being the exception being the Janet Jackson song, which is a radio edit. So check this out. Everything on here from Corey Hart, Pat Benatar, Hall & Oates, The Bangles, Gowan, Rush is on here, Wham, Miami Sound Machine, Kenny Loggins, Janet Jackson, Loverboy. So if you, like me, grew up in Canada in the 80s, or grew up near the Canadian border and were able to get the Canadian television signals, I am sure as soon as you're done this video, you are going to go to Discogs and buy a copy of this album for yourself, because it is really a cool trip down memory lane. That is this week's record of the week, the Video Hits album.
Welcome to Video Hits. I'm Sam Taylor, host of Canada's #1 video show.
I thought that was a cool album, a companion record to the show. Anyway, a few housekeeping bits before I get to the Bandbox records. First of all, I accidentally shaved my goatee, as you can see here. I was half asleep, waking up in the morning. I decided to trim my goatee, but I forgot to put the little thing on there on the shaver that limits how much you cut off. And I was like, oh my gosh, why is all this hair coming off? And I cut it all off. So that's number one. Number two is that a lot of people have been asking me in the comments when I am going to do a review on the Humming Guru ultrasonic record cleaner. I got it on, you can't see it, it's on my shelf over there. I've been playing around with it. I'm cleaning some records, and so far I'm digging the Humming Guru ultrasonic record cleaner, and I will have a full review coming up in the next little bit. But enough of, oh, one more thing. I'm happy to be back. Thank you for tuning back in. It took a few weeks off. I am rested, I'm back, and I'm ready to rock. So on that note, let's check out these Bandbox records. So Bandbox sent me like literally a stack of their records to check out. As I said, Bandbox is a monthly vinyl subscription service. I know these record clubs are not for everyone, but I've certainly found some value in it, and that being music discovery. I found a absolutely phenomenal artist I wasn't familiar with, that being Jesse Malin. I'll talk about that in a second, but first I want to tell you a little bit about Bandbox, and also let you know, as I said, they sent me these records free of charge in order to get a review. Of course, my opinions, as always, are my own. So let me tell you a little bit about how Bandbox works. First of all, as I said, they are a monthly vinyl subscription service. A membership costs $29 a month, and for that you get one record every month, one record of your choice. They're colored vinyl. It's all exclusive to Bandbox color pressings. Plus you get a 16-page magazine centered around the artist you selected that month. If you don't select an album, one is curated and sent to you. If you don't like the album sent to you, you can send it back. A lot of their selection, I noticed, is sort of focused on alt rock and indie rock, but there's other stuff in there as well, such as Chuck Berry and Johnny Cash. Okay, this first Bandbox, I absolutely dig this artist. This is Jesse Malin. The album is called Sunset Kids. It's in a gatefold, and it comes on this colored vinyl. As I said, a lot of these come, I think all of them come on colored vinyl. And here is that 16-page booklet or magazine with a bunch of information on Jesse Malin. So if you haven't heard of Jesse, he is a guitarist and songwriter from New York. He started his performing career in the New York hardcore band Heart Attack, and rose to prominence as a vocalist in the band D-Generation, which is like a glam punk thing. This album, again, which I'm absolutely digging, is sort of country roots, folk, Americana, that sort of stuff. And I wasn't aware of this album. I had never heard of Jesse Malin before Bandbox sent this over. I love this album. I've fallen in love with it. It's fantastic. It was produced by Lucinda Williams and with their husband Tom Overby. My two favorite tracks are Strangers and Thieves, where Jesse teams up with Green Day's Billy Joe Armstrong, and Shane. Shane, I guess you call it a duet with Lucinda Williams, and it's a tribute to Pogue's singer Shane MacGowan. So my only complaint about this one is when you listen to the vinyl, there is some faint surface noise I just can't get rid of. I ran it through the cleaner multiple times. I used the static gun on there, and there's just a little bit of static, enough to be not distracting, but enough to be noticeable. I reached out to Bandbox and they said they haven't heard anyone else complain about surface noise in this particular record, so they figured it was a one-off. I don't know. I've only heard this one album, but despite that, I'm really digging this. If you have not heard of Jesse Malin or Jesse Malin, I do recommend you check it out. Another record they sent me, most of you have heard of these guys, I'm sure. This is the Black Pumas. This is their 2019 self-titled debut album. These guys, they describe themselves as psychedelic soul. I would say it's more like modern soul. I don't know, but they're based in Austin, Texas. And again, it came with this magazine/booklet, which tells you all about the band. This one is on this cool colored wax. I love the Black Pumas, and I've really been digging this record. This one is pressed really well. Next one they sent me was Elliott Smith, Either Or, and I had heard of Elliott Smith, but I did not know a lot about him. Pretty interesting guy, this guy. The music is pretty laid back, described, I would say, as indie folk. But Elliott Smith died in 2003 at the age of 34 years old. He died in Los Angeles, California. And check this out, he died of 2 stab wounds to the chest, and the autopsy evidence was inconclusive as to whether the wounds were self-inflicted or the result of homicide. So, fairly sad, but this is a cool album. Elliott Smith. What else did they send? We got Watch House. There is the booklet, and Watch House is an Americana folk duo from North Carolina. I also got Gregory Alan Isakov, I think is how you say it. He was born in South Africa, but he's based in Boulder, Colorado. Singer-songwriter. There's that booklet. And another band I'd heard quite a bit about, but I'd never heard them before, was Silver Spun Pickup. They're kind of, again, indie rock. They've been compared to Smashing Pumpkins, and I got a few records from them sent over. This is Silver Sun Pickups. Silver Sun Pickups, Widows, Weeds, Gatefold, and again some colored wax here. There you go. Then there was this one called Canvas. This was actually their full-length debut, released in 2006. This one actually looks pretty cool. Check that out. And finally got this one called Better Nature. This is my favorite of the 3. This is a 2 LP set, and again, this one comes on colored vinyl. So some cool things. I love checking out new music and new to me music, and most of these were new to me. As I said, of all of these, my favorite was most definitely Jesse Malin, so do check that out. Bandbox peeps, thanks again for the 2nd time for sending me a stack of your wax to check out. Much appreciated. All right, 33ers, that was today's Friday update. Feels good to be back. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you dug it, I would appreciate a quick thumbs up. I'll be back again in a couple of days. Until then, keep on spinning.